Hello and welcome.
Today, we have several interesting stories, including one about entitled parents who abandoned their LESBIAN daughter in the cold and now are getting good karma for it. Sit back, relax and enjoy. I was on a flight from London to Amsterdam this weekend. On the flight I was on, I was sitting in the aisle seat while someone else was in the window. During the in-flight service, the flight attendant was serving the window seat passenger a glass of orange juice when she somehow lost her grip and spilled it on me. There was no turbulence or rough air, she just simply seemed to miss her grip.
Anyway, it got all over my white shirt and she tried to profusely apologize, and I interrupted her and said, "Just stop."
That's all I said. I hadn't yelled at her or anything like that.
I had an important event to attend not long after the flight. This was a day trip, and normally I don't pack extras for day trips, but this time I did bring an extra shirt just in case.
I went to the bathroom to change while she cleaned off the seat. Shortly before landing, the window passenger leaned over and told me that mistakes happen, and that I didn't have to be so dismissive. I don't think I came off as rude, but I don't want to cry. Was I the idiot in that situation? I didn't say anything mean or yell. The top comments: "You are the idiot, mistakes do happen," and you cut her off when she clearly felt bad. Your response was curt and dismissive and probably felt like a slap in the face to her. I had a flight attendant spill red wine on me. I, personally, didn't care at the time. My clothes were black. I was going to be on that plane for 9 hours and the whole journey with customs and getting back to my apartment would have been closer to 30 hours. I even joked she did me a favor 'cause I loved doing laundry. But if I were on a work trip and had a meeting afterwards, I would have been upset. I don't understand why the original poster should lie saying, "It is fine, no worries," if it is not fine. Yes, it was a mistake, an accident, but they don't have to pretend nothing happened. What else were they supposed to say without coming off as rude but also not pretending/lying? The second reply: of course, there are dozens of extremely gracious things that he could have said. That said, it is fine to be upset and overwhelmed when someone makes a mistake that physically invades your space and causes your inevitable physical discomfort. Of course, it is. And if you get upset, you aren't an idiot just because you don't use your mental energy to make the person that just invaded your space feel better. Original poster could have handled it better, of course, but instead, they just communicated that they wanted the effusive apologizing to stop so that they could sort things out themselves. A lot of ill will could be eliminated if people handled being upset like original poster did, calmly stating that they need space. Saying that it is improper to communicate that you were upset and need space is a first step to bottling up whenever you are upset, which is not a solution that serves society.
After all, if you make a legitimate mistake, sometimes people won't immediately accept your apology, which is a good life lesson all on its own.
The third reply: interesting. The first thought coming to my mind is if the apology is for the benefit of the giver or the receiver. If original poster is socially obliged to accept the apology, then it's an onus on the receiver, and that sounds absurd.
What I believe you're saying is that an apology is for the benefit of building decorum and return to normal in society.
So it is for the benefit of neither, it is a reset. It's an interesting idea, although I find it hard to agree with. Especially since there is definitely such a thing as an apology for the benefit of the receiver. The implication of this being, dude, it's just a shirt, no need to get your panties in a twist. And to me, the principles that apply aid original poster doesn't owe anyone a feeling. In addition, if it was such a slap in the face, then she should forgive original poster in the same vein we are saying she has a right to original poster's forgiveness.
In addition, we don't know original poster's mental state at the time, so it is unreasonable to ask for a particular emotion at that particular time.
Edit. Okay, I see now that I was unnecessarily rude. As I said in a comment, I was also just very stressed.
I'd not been able to sleep the night before. This was an early flight, and my driver to the airport canceled last minute. I guess that doesn't excuse me not being nice.
I'm sure she was stressed too, and I didn't have to be so unkind. I won't act like that again if a similar situation ever arises. I get it. I'm the idiot.
I'm sorry.
I shouldn't have tried to make excuses. I don't have the mental bandwidth for this post anymore. The second story. I, 29F, was pretty much disowned by my entire family when I came out at 18. My parents gave me 5 minutes to grab my things before shutting me outside. I remember telling them that there was no way I could live on my own, that I was their kid and they should want to love and support me. My father told me that I made this bed myself by choosing my lifestyle, so I should grow up and learn to lay in it. I turned out pretty okay, all things considered.
I was able to go to college on a few scholarships and not too many loans. I met my wife during our freshman year and I've been with her ever since. We have a 2E daughter who is the most precious little person in the world. We bought a house, and we both have decent paying jobs.
I consider myself to be incredibly lucky and I can't imagine my life without my wife and our daughter. I don't keep in touch with my bio family, so I don't know how my parents got my contact info, but they did.
My mom sent me a message detailing the financial issues they were going through.
They had to sell the house I grew up in and they moved to some apartments.
At the end of the message, my mom asked me if I'd be willing to help them out for a little while by letting them stay with me. I didn't respond to the message, I just planned on pretending like I never saw it, but then I got a call the other day and as soon as I answered it, I realized my dad was on the other line.
He told me the same thing my mom did and that they needed help. I said, "That really sucks, I hope you figure it out." He then flat out asked if I was seriously not going to provide them with any assistance.
I asked why he wanted my help and he told me that I should want to support my parents the way they supported me growing up. I replied saying that maybe if their support of me hadn't ended the moment I told them I was a lesbian, I'd be willing to help them, but unfortunately, they made their bed themselves so they can lay in it too.
I hung up on him and later he left a voicemail calling me selfish and cruel for using their financial struggles to prove a point. Maybe it is cruel. I don't know. The top replies. Normally I take the route of temperance and advocate taking the high ground. But not this time. Big not the idiot. If they let bigotry abandon their daughter, then they deserve to no longer have a daughter.
They don't get to pick you back up as their child when they need help. They made it clear that you were on your own, so that works both ways. The second reply. They only want to be in your life because they need something from you.
The moment they get back on their feet, they'll be all bigotry and callousness. I honestly see this as karma for their past behavior. They said you should help them and support them the same way they did for you. Well, it sounds like you're doing exactly that. They turned their back on you and punished you for your choices. Well, now their choices are coming back to bite them in the ass. Hope it hurts. Maybe if they'd have made different choices, they wouldn't be in the boat they are now.
For example, if they had acted like halfway decent human beings and didn't turn their back on their own child, maybe they'd actually have some support now.
But them's the breaks. Not the idiot. Don't subject your wife and your child to these people.
Don't subject yourself to them. They literally only want you around because they need something. The second reply.
Not the idiot. First, way to go on finding a person you love and can have a life with. A big plus adding a little girl. Your parents threw you out like trash because you were a lesbian. They didn't, or that you were a scared kid with no place to go, and now they think that none of that counts since they need help. Too bad they never learned that what goes around comes around. They had no right to expect anything from you. Karma is real. Forget them and continue to thrive in the life you have. The original poster replies.
Thank you so much.
My wife and our baby girl are the best part of my life. I'd do it all over again exactly the same way if it meant always ending up with the two of them. I had been taught by my family that being out meant being in misery, because sinful behavior would lead to a life of suffering. But now I get to fall asleep next to my wife every night, and I get to make our daughter smile, and we get to have a home that is full of laughter and built on love. I know that there's no way for any of this to be a sin. Not when my life brings me more joy than I ever thought I could feel.
Edit. I sent my mom an email with a bunch of links to soup kitchens, food pantries, housing assistance, etc.
And then I blocked both her and my dad. I might change my number if they try calling again, but for now I'm gonna leave it as is. The third story. I will not say my wife is OCD because I have no training to make such a diagnosis. She is, however, incredibly anal about so much stuff. I can deal with most of it. There is really only one thing that bugs me. She doesn't understand that the soap dispensers need to be refilled.
There is a bathroom just inside the back door that I use on my way into the house. I like to use it and then wash my hands and my face after a long day at work or after a day of working in the garage or in the yard.
This requires soap. My wife likes liquid soap dispensers. No problem, I can live with that. Except that when they are empty, she forgets to refill them. So I have to use another bathroom in the house. Then she gives me hell for bringing director tea into the house.
I bought a sleeve of bars of soap to keep in that bathroom. She threw them away because bats of soap are gross. I bought replacement dispensers. She gave me crap for wasting money on refillable soap dispensers. She buys liquid soap by the gallon. She doesn't store the stockpile in the same place all the time. And when I go looking for it, she gives me crap for disorganizing her pantry/storeroom.
So now, whenever I run out of soap, I just toss the dispenser in the garbage and go get one from the other bathroom. Then when she gets home, she gets upset because she has to dig the dispenser out of the garbage to refill it. I've asked her to leave me a gallon of soaping the bathroom. She won't. I bought my own gallon of soap. She found it and hid it wherever she hides that crap. She says I'm being an ass by throwing away the dispensers. I say it's her fault for not refilling them. I even drew a line on the one in my bathroom so I can give her a week's warning that I need a refill. The top replies, I'm laughing out loud at this really great synopsis. Hiding soap. Original poster. This is an absurd situation and I'm so sorry. I do have OCD. You can't be OCD. And when I do some inexplicably weird crap like this, there is usually something sensory I am avoiding. I often don't even realize I am doing it.
For example, I always stop the microwave before it dings because I don't like the beep, but then I also won't clear it because I don't want to get another fingerprint on the button.
I leave the fridge door open too long for the same reason. Ironically, I also have anxiety about food spoilage and throw out leftover food that my wife intended to consume. I am a hopeless case. I can at least laugh at myself now, but I am sure living with me can be difficult. I do refill all the things, however, which is a perk. I offer this only to give perhaps an opening to a conversation with your wife about the why behind the soap debacle. She might not even realize something weird is going on for her or that she avoids the task for a specific reason. The second reply, not the idiot. You have tried several reasonable ways to address the issue and she sabotages each one. If throwing them away is the only way to get her to refill the container, so be it. That being said, y'all really need to talk this out and figure out what exactly is the problem. This has got to be deeper than just not wanting to refill the container in that bathroom.
The third reply.
Sheesh, definitely not the idiot, but there is definitely something more here than the soap. Your wife sounds controlling AF. She's got some very weird issues about it and seems to be picking fights. Have you asked what exactly you need to do to have soap in that bathroom all the time?
What's her solution? I think how she answers that question will tell you a lot. You've tried every other solution yourself and she's still obsessing and controlling over freaking soap.
You definitely need to get to the bottom of this and update us. Inquisitive minds want to know. The fourth story.
My wife suffers from chronic soft tissue pain in her neck, back and shoulders.
It's been like this for years, partly due to stress and old injuries. For years she's used a combo of CBD cream, physical therapy, pain meds and seen a masseuse once, and sometimes twice a month. Nothing really fixes it, just temporarily makes her feel better. Recently she's started to see the masseuse 2 and now 3 times a month, and the masseuse's rates have gone up as well. It's getting really expensive. I asked her to limit her massages to once a month to manage expenses. She was upset. I really feel bad. My rationale is that the massages are not a cure, and they are really costly and are had at the expense of other things our family needs. We both work and pool our income. Am I the idiot here? The top replies, what are you giving up to help manage month expenses? Because although a massage might not be a cure, it can really help with the pain. So, if you're giving up something of great benefit to your physical and mental well-being as well, then it's a no. However, if you are expecting your wife to give up something that's a legitimate health need, while you still go to the gym or do a hobby that you like, you're absolutely the arsehole. Based on original poster's edit, you are the idiot. There are any number of things you could have suggested she cut down on, but you chose one that really shouldn't be open to negotiation. It sounds like she could do with some financial planning advice. Second reply. You are the idiot. Pain management isn't leisure time. Have you shopped around for a massage therapist that is less expensive? Have you asked a pain specialist to prescribe this as physical therapy/pain management to get it covered by your health insurance? Have you offered to give any of your essential or non-essential items up to manage expenses?